Chit Chat with Double V with host Vivian Velez is a program that breaks down important national concerns, events, and stories, featuring newsmaker interviews and compelling features to add context, clarity, and answer the questions on your mind. Every Sunday from 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. on Radio Bandito TV, Channel 224 Sky Cable, TV Plus boxes, 𝗖𝗵𝗶𝘁, Easy Box, and all DTT boxes. Simulcast on DZRJ 8:10 a.m. Seen on Facebook /DZRJ 8:10 a.m. and YouTube channel DZRJ 8:10 a.m. Radio Bandito.
And we are live. A wonderful Sunday, mga kachicha. Ito po si Vivian Velez, ang inyong kakwentuhan sa inyong weekly Sunday. Ang Chit Chat with Double V at sumasa inyo kami live dito sa DZRJ Radio Bandito TV. And for today, napaka-exciting at napaka-importanting topic ang pag-uusapan po natin ngayong hapon na to. And we have a special guest. But before then, syempre papakilala ko ang aking fresh na aking co-host, Raymond Diamzon. Hi, Mom.
Ayan, wonderful Sunday to you, my partner Vibs. Nako, tama ka, no? It's very interesting ang pag-uusapan natin ngayon. And ako personally, gusto ko rin matuto para sa ating, mula sa ating distinguished guest for today.
Correct. Well, wag na natin patagalin kasi medyo mahaba-haba itong pag-uusapan natin. Go ahead, Mon.
Exactly. So, mga kachichat, isa sa mga naging mainit na paksa ng bayan ang federalism. Tungkol nga ba saan ito at ano ang mapapala ng bawat Pinoy dito? So para pag-usapan ito, we have a distinguished guest for today. He is the founder and chairman of People's Solidarity Federal Party of the Philippines, former Dean of Law, legal consultant of the Moro National Liberation Front and Cordillera People's Liberation Army, and a Dumaguete City-based trial lawyer for many decades. Let's welcome Attorney 𝗄𝗶𝘁𝗵. Hi, sir. Welcome to the show.
Hello. Good afternoon, Raymond, and good afternoon, Vivian. Well, it was a long, matagal tayo hindi nagkita.
You know, nakapag-watch.
Good afternoon, almost good evening na.
Yes. Well, you know, Monj, nakapag-guest na sa atin si Attorney 𝗄𝗶𝘁𝗵. You know, yung mga first month natin dito sa DZRJ. And it's true, it's been a long time that we haven't seen each other, especially because of the pandemic. But now I'm so excited to chit-chat with him at napaka-importante itong pag-uusapan namin. Alam mo, ito na yon, federalism. Ito po yung pag-uusapan. Hindi naman masyadong malalim ito, no? Kaya po natin ito pinag-uusapan is para maintindihan ng mga taong bayan kung ano ba talaga ang federalism. And we've been advocating this form of government for such a long time now. And andito nga si Attorney Jewel to give us some clarifications or even kung ano ba talaga ang federalism. Ayan, Attorney Jewel. Pag-usapan natin ang federalism.
Okay. Thank you again, Vivian, for giving me this opportunity. This is a rare opportunity, and thank you so much. And by the way, hindi naman ako naging expert dito. Kaya lang, sa katagal naman nating nag-research na rin, dahil gusto natin maiba because of our clamor for change of government na master na rin natin ng konti, no? Now the better question siguro, Vivian and Raymond, is not so much of what or how is federalism. The better question yet now is why go for federalism? Saka natin answer kung what then is going to happen. Kung na-answer na natin yung question why, then we go to the next step. So this is to our group, this is why we wanted to go to federalism, because of this reason. Okay? From the Treaty of Paris
Treaty
in
of Paris,
1889
Okay.
up to the 1987 Constitution, iisa lang ang ginawa niyan. Treaty of Paris, the Constitution that was built, the first one that was built by that was established by the Americans was the Bill of 1902. The Bill of 1902. Because between that period, our revolutionaries were already writing the Malolos Constitution. Kasi ang promise ng Amerikano is they will help us liberate ourselves from the Spaniards. Only to find out that as we were relying on that promise, and therefore we were preparing for a constitution, ito na, nagkaroon ng Treaty of Paris, walang participation ng Pilipino. Because the Treaty of Paris is a deed of sale. It is a purchase of the United States from the Crown of Spain. Binili ng United States ang Philippine Islands from the Crown of Spain together with 3 other countries. Cuba, Puerto Rico, I think, and Guam, for a value of $20 million. Yung apat na yun, 20 million. But anyway, the thing that I wanted to emphasize is walang participation ng Pilipino sa Treaty of Paris. And one thing that I wanted to emphasize there is, nung binenta ng Spain ang Philippines to the United States, he included even portions of the Philippine Islands which is not under its control. One of it is the Muslim Mindanao. Kaya nagkaroon ng revolusyon ang Mindanao. Kasi how can Spain sell something that it does not control? It's as simple as that. But anyway, that is history, no? It was able to sell it. When the Americans came in, we thought still that they will abide with the promise that we will liberate ourselves from Spain. So tinuloy lang natin yung Malolos Constitution up to 1991. In 1902, the Bill of 1902 came up. That is the first autonomy law, which established a centrist form of government. There is a legislative composed of the higher house and the lower house. The higher house is called the Philippine Commission, and the lower house is called the National Assembly. And that is carried over to the Jones Law of 1916, to the Tidings-McDuffie Law of 1934, and the 1935 Constitution up to the present. And so, iisa lang yan, centrist government. There is a centrist form of government. And when it came to the present time, nag-evolve yan, pero the same yan. It has the same. Even the 1987 Constitution have all the footprints and all the fingerprints of 1902. So hindi tayo umalis. Hindi tayo nakaalis. Even after the 1946 independence na sinasabi nila, hindi tayo nakaalis doon sa 1902. We were tied up legally with the Bill of 1902. Even up to the 1987 Constitution. And here we are. The 1987 Constitution created a centrist form of government, unitary, having one president, one vice president, 24 senators, 300 congressmen, 84 provinces, 1,600 municipalities and 42,000 barangays, spread over 7,100 islands. How can that be? With 50 different ethno-linguistic grouping. One government with 50 ethno-linguistic grouping.
Well,
That is
go ahead.
That is the reason why I say that the centrist form of government is dysfunctional, because it does not fit the original Filipino native character. We have the native character is Ilocano nation, Tagalog nation, Bicol nation, Waray nation, Ilonggo nation, Cebuano nation, Muslim nation, Lumad nation, Igorot nation, all of it independent from each other, having their own culture, having their own ways, having their own territory. And that is the reason why, Vivian and Raymond, the first sentence of the first section of the Malolos Constitution mentions the association of peoples as that constitutes a nation, because you associate, you make an association out of different peoples, of different nations. Actually, that sentence, association of peoples or association of nations, is a statement descriptive of federalism.
Correct.
Even as early as 1909, 1900s, at the end of 1900s. Hindi lang nila na-mention na federal, but actually association of peoples and association of nations is federal. Now,
Well, let me interject, Attorney Joel. Yun lang sa history natin. In fact, Apolinario Mabini and Emilio Aguinaldo intended the Philippines to be divided into federal states, diba? Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao at that time.
yeah, because in their suggestion, they even started dividing the Philippines into 12 senatorial districts. Yung senators natin noon, yung sinasuggest nila Aguinaldo is hindi at large. By senatorial districts. That was a stepping stone to a full federal. Kasi alam naman nila na nandyan pa yung states na centrist. So, sabi nila, siguro sabi nila, this will be a transition. Kaya lang, naudlot yun because namatay si Aguinaldo 1901. Tapos, lumabas yung Bill of 1902. Nawala na yung Malolos Constitution. But anyway, that is the history. Now, let me now focus why the centrist form of government is an evil, wrong system on a multicultural, multi-people situation. Because you have a center that imposes itself on different peoples, and that makes it dysfunctional. Now, the trouble that happened here, Vivian and Raymond, is over the years, yung elite natin, yung elite Filipino natin, they already felt the comfort that the centrist government offers to them for their benefit, but not for the interest of the different peoples. Sabi nila, mas maganda pala dito. And added to that, even United States, even the CIA, even the big corporations deem it better to deal with a centrist form of government than many association of peoples. Because the moment you control the center, you control the periphery. That doesn't happen in a federal system. That doesn't happen in the federal system. And that is the reason why. Because of this dysfunctional centrist unitary system, we now want to go into federal. And therefore, if we go to federal, it should be that kind of federal that destroys the center. Because if it is a federal system that retains the center nonetheless, then wag na lang. Baka sinasabi natin na federal, pero hindi naman pala, it is not going to the native nature of the Filipinos. That is my simple shortcut of the malahaba na usapin yan, Vivian, but that is the synopsis.
Yes.
That is the synopsis of what is why our group, and I know that you are with us, is clamoring for federalism because of the evils of the centrist form of government.
Okay, yun ang gusto kong pag-usapan din natin, Attorney Joel, para maintindihan ng mga tao. Ano ba ang reklamo natin sa isang centrist form of government?
Yeah, oo.
Bakit ba itong centrist form of government? Di ba, Monj? Bakit ba itong centrist form of government is not working for us?
Ano ba yung mga sintomas? Yes.
Oo, ano
yes.
mga sintomas nito? Bakit it's not working for us?
You control the president, you control everything. You control the center, you control everything. That doesn't happen in federal because the federal states are stronger than the federal government. The state governments are stronger than the federal government because the federal constitution is a creation of the states. Hindi gagaya ngayon na mas malakas yung the sovereignty belongs to the center. In a federal system, the sovereignty belongs to the states. You see?
Yes.
That basically is the big difference between a bottoms-up federalism and a top-to-bottom federalism. Kasi pwede naman tayong pupunta na federalism na top-to-bottom din. That the
wag na muna natin pag-usapan nga, Attorney Joel, para hindi, alam mo, ang ating, because you are too advanced, di ba, when it comes to federalism. Let's put it into basic muna. Yung ating centrist government kasi would be, parang sinasabi natin, more susceptible for corruption. Pag ang top management natin is a corrupt government, lahat yan damay-damay na, di ba? Kasi isa lang ang napupuntahan ng pondo natin, which is the national government. Tama ba yun? Oo.
Yeah.
Oo. Lahat ng taxes natin, all our resources are going to just the national, which is the centrist government, as we are calling it. Tama po ba yun?
Actually, alam naman natin yan, Vivian. We were not born yesterday. Okay? Alam naman natin from very beginning, you're older than me, and 1980 and the 1935 Constitution up to now, no? Up to now, kahit na sinasabi nila na may check and balance yan, ang may control yan, presidente. Walang president of the Senate or speaker of the House without the blessing of the president. Huwag na tayong magmaang-maangan dyan ng independence of this one and that one. That's a fallacy.
Yeah, even the Congress. Kaya nga ang nakalagay ng mga Senate President dyan, dapat hawak ng presidente, hindi ba?
Correct. Especially so now na in-expand nila yung meaning ng party list. Kahit sino na, asawa, anak, kabit, nandun na lahat sa party list. So, the 300 seats given by the law to distribute kasi Republican tayo, di ba? Republican is a representative form of government. So the 300 should be representing the many cultures and ethno-linguistic grouping. What happened is only 50 families or at that level is now representing 110 million. Only 50 or 60 families. You can just imagine that. And how can not that be enticing for corruption?
Well,
Tapos-
anti-dynasty bill, anti-dynasty, it's already inside the Constitution. Kasama na yan sa ating Constitution, but it's not being implemented, ano?
The trouble with the 1987 Constitution on anti-dynasty is there is a provision in that portion of the Constitution which is as provided by law. So Congress must pass a law to implement the how
Sila mismo
Okay.
yan.
Hindi papasa yun.
Di ba pa sa'yo dahil sila mismo.
Kaya nung ginawa nila yung 1987 Constitution, they know pretty well that it will not happen. They know pretty well that it will happen. They should have made it self-executory. Ang ginawa nila is, okay, anti-dynasty in accordance with law.
Ayun, may permission nila dapat, ganun.
Oo, dapat create na noong 1987.
Correct. Oo.
Hindi create na 1987. It still give the power of Congress to determine, one, what is dynasty, and two, at yung extent ng third relationship ba or fourth, whatever. Binigay yun sa Congress. And under the situation now, who is the Congress who is going to do that? Tell me. Who is the Congress in his right mind? Tapos, there is another complication sa situation natin, Vivian and Raymond. That's the reason why I have changed gears in this movement for nung nagke-claim tayo ng change of government in 2016 to 2019. I was really hard on RevGov, revolutionary government, but I have changed that.
Yes.
Lesson learned because I am studying the Filipino character. The Filipino would rather be an alipin to a rotten, corrupt system rather than revolt against it. The Filipino would elect against its interest by electing to be submitted to a corrupt system rather than go against it. That is our problem, Vivian. That is one of our masakit man aminin. But that is the truth.
Actually,
Kaya
attorney, yeah.
Bilib ako dun sa may isang kandidato na si attorney, yung labor leader na nagtumakbo ng
Leo de Guzman.
Yun. I believe ako dun. Why? After the election, nagpa-meeting siya doon sa Cavite. Pinagalitan niya ang labor. Sabi niya, pag reklamo kayo. You were given a chance to elect me, but you elected against your interest. That was what he said. Tama siya.
Monj, you were about to say something.
Yeah, actually, attorney, magandang tumbukin yung sinabi mo na yun, na parang yung mindset ng ating electorate ay they're given every 6 years, no? In fact, every 3 years for the midterms to elect their leaders. But how come this power to elect your leaders ay laging na-elect ay yung the same lot, no? Yung sila pa rin, yung mga nirereklamo nilang mga politiko ay nananalo pa din. Tapos and then magrereklamo din yung taong bayan kung bakit ninanakawan. Pero every 3 years, inuulit nyo rin naman. Yung ganong mindset, attorney, sa tingin mo, bakit kaya nagkaroon ng ganong klaseng mindset ang mga Pinoy na pwede naman nilang baguhin as envisioned in the 1987 Constitution na you have the control, you have the power to change your leaders, but sila pa rin ang ini-elect na mga tao.
Monj na, peacefully.
Exactly, peacefully.
You can change,
Oo, bakit kaya, attorney, tayo bilang tao ay nasa isip natin sila pa rin yung alipin na sinasabi mo, interesting yun . Pwede ba nating rooted yan dahil cultural or historical dahil lumaki tayong alipin ng mga Kastila and eventually ng mga Amerikano and then hanggang ngayon hindi pa rin nawawala yun?
Maybe na-immune tayo.
Mhm.
Yung nasanayan siguro natin.
But I
Yes.
have
Yeah, because-
another theory. I have another theory, Attorney Abad. Indulge me. Kasi para sa akin naman, kasi Monj, yung oligarch na sinasabi ni Attorney Joel Abad is kasi feeling ko kasi ang pera na ang tumatakbo.
Mhm.
Pera na. Kasi yan ang kumbaga sa ating kultura, minsan mabigyan ka lang ng 500 pesos. Ngayon yata, no last election, narinig ko 5,000, 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 na ang bayaran. Ano? So, in other words, ang para sa akin lang, nababayaran ang boto ng Pilipino.
That's a fact. Kaya yung corruption is a cycle. Saan kukunin nung politician yung ibabayad niya the next election? So it is a vicious cycle. So it is not the person, it is the system. The system just merely allows it to happen because of that practice.
Yeah.
That practice, that centrist practice should be broken. But let me say that na-mention din natin na kailangan talagang in this movement, kailangan talaga i-mention yung voter. Yun ang nami-miss natin. Palagi natin masama ang gobyerno, masama din yung voter
Tayo din
That should also be emphasized. Kasi useless tayo nagsasalita ng masama yung gobyerno, yung magbobo. Kasi you have to remember, Vivian and Raymond, the new constitution, whatever it is, will be only a constitution if it is submitted for plebiscite.
Plebiscite. Yeah.
Ang plebiscite election yan. Election yan.
Yes.
Plebiscite lang ang tawag niyan, but actually it is election.
Also, let me mention Congress, Kasi mga congressman natin, representative to ng mga tao. Binoboto rin natin sila. Hindi ba?
Yes.
So, as representative of the people, so whatever they're doing in Congress, at pagka sinabi natin ng Congress, corrupt as we may say, dahil dun sa ating mga bills na ipapasa, definitely ayoko ng sa akin kasi yung Maharlika medyo questionable sa akin when it comes to yung sa ating mga bill. But anyway, yun nga. So we start with the voters actually. Kasi meron naman tayong ngayon, ipapasok ko rin naman yung mahabang usapin po naman yung Smartmatic kasi smart magic ang sinasabi nila diyan So kahit na bumoboto tayo, nagpapakahirap tayong pumila diyan sa ating mga presinto, pero kung madadaya rin naman tayo at may smart magic tayo, yun din ang malaking problema.
That is even one of the sa akin wild yung isipan ko diyan sa Smartmatic. One of the agencies that refuse or will object to a federal system will be the CIA.
Lumalalim na tayo.
Yeah. Kasi the moment we go federal, hahabulin nila yung states Hahabulin nila ng control. Habang kung centrist government tayo, iisa lang ang hahabulin nila. Bigyan mo lang ng isang kondisyon yan na 10 digits na dolyar, okay na. Diba? So that's one. And mind you, there is also one agency that you might not believe who will be against a certain group that is against federalism. I am referring to the communist, the NPA, and the F. Because once you go to federalism, you dissolve the National Democratic Front. By nature, that will have to be dissolved. Mahirap sila gagawa ng 12 democratic fronts. Kaya if the government wanted to stop the NDF and the communists, one way to stop it is go federal. Automatic yan. Patay yung NDF. Ma-dissolve yung NDF because the NDF is a national democratic front. It dwells on a single national democratic front. Kaya one of the ways to dissolve the NPA is go federal. Because that will dissolve also the National Democratic Front.
Well, Attorney Joel, you know, the critics are also saying that the federalism magde-divide daw, ito daw ang magde-divide ng ating country. What is your take on that?
Well, Vivian, I look at it this way. We were already divided in 1800s. Different yan. There is nothing to dismember. Actually, when they put it under one Tagalog, ano lang yan, symbolism lang yung Tagalog ko. When they put it as one Tagalog, that made it worse. You go to the Igorot place, makipagsalita ka sila na makipag-usap ka sa kanila ng Tagalog, Burgis ang tingin sa'yo. Go also to the Visayas, makipag-usap ka ng Tagalog doon, Burgis ang tingin sa'yo. So the Tagalog language is an imposition to the cultures of the periphery. So what dismembership are you talking about? What dismembership are you talking about? We were dismembered from the very start. All we got to do is to associate it in a proper forum, and I call that proper forum federalism.
Yes.
Because then this will be the one to create the federal government.
Attorney, one concern din na ni-raise before ng mga nag-object sa federalism is yung kahandaan ng mga ating rehiyon para maging self-sustaining sila, because many regions in our country are malnourished. I mean, they're not prepared at hindi nila kakayanin daw tumindig, baka daw sila mag-collapse at hindi nila matulungan na kanilang mga constituents. Sa tingin mo ba, handa na ba talaga ang bawat rehiyon na magkaroon ng kanya-kanyang sariling gobyerno?
Alam mo, Raymond and Vivian, pag pera ang pinag-uusapan, kung gusto, maraming paraan yan. Maraming paraan yan. Now, I give you an example. In the Cordilleras. In the Cordilleras, it is covered by almost 10 reservations. Patong-patong na reservation yan. Kaya hindi makapag-title ang mga tao. But the moment you go federal, and you sign the federal constitution, the state constitution today, and leave Cordilleras out from those reservations, immediately you created 10 times the GDP. Automatic yan. So that is one example only of going federal. Of course, there will be birth pains. Of course, there will be labor pains. Kasi transition yan. Now, if you call, ano ang part ng Philippines na walang natural capital?
Yes.
Ano? Tell me. As far back as Tawi-Tawi and as high back as in Apari and beyond Apari. Batanes. Huh? They have their own ways. Kung gusto natin, kung nabigyan ng government ang BARM, 74 billion, na hindi pat natin sigurado kasi may disarmament doon na hindi natin alam. Eh yung sa ibang regions, like in Cordilleras, like in the Ilocos, like in the Waray, wala namang disarmament doon. Walang disarmament doon. Eh doon sa BARM, 74 billion ang binigay doon. If it can happen to BARM, why cannot it happen to Ilocano or to the Tagalog or to the Orais, or you see, 1 trillion, no, almost 1 trillion na yung budget natin ngayon. Kasi mababaliktad yan eh. The budgetary powers will be on the stage. Sila na ngayon ang mag-contribute sa national. Hindi kagaya ngayon na sa national binibigay nila sa, which is wrong. Remember, sovereignty belongs to the people. Sovereignty belongs below, not above. Not above. Sovereignty resides on the people, and all government So, you know,
But
nakakapagod man, Vivian.
yes.
But
people has to understand, really. Kasi, let me interject lang, Attorney Joel. Also, because there was a survey, actually, that was conducted. There was, sabi nila, mga 35 to 37% lang naman kasi ang mga Filipino voters, no? Na nakakaintindi kung anong klase, kung ano ba ang federalism. Kasi medyo, ito hindi, nagkaroon tayo ng budget in 2016, 2017 yata, nung nagkaroon tayo ng budget. For us, no, I think DILG pa yon ang nabigyan ng budget to magkaroon ng information campaign when it comes to federalism. Pero hindi nangyari at hindi naging totoo yung supposed to be goal nila, no, to educate the Filipinos para malaman nila kung ano klase kung ano ba ang federalism. Because you know, Monch, kasi matagal na itong federalism. Yung 2016, I voted for Duterte because ang platform niya federalism. Karamihan ng mga, like Arroyo was also for federalism. Pero hindi nangyayari ito. Hindi rin nangyari kay Presidente Duterte, which is, I was so very much disappointed, no? But then ito, yung number 1 senator natin, which is Robin Padilla, Attorney Joel, is also, alam naman natin, ang plataforma nito is talagang federalism. And he's the number 1 senator. And he was, sa mga first few months talagang, you know, I was so, you know, kind of like, wow, you know, pumapalakpak ako sa kanya because he was really trying very hard, no, para maintindihan natin itong federalism, and he's really pushing for it. Ano nangyari? Because I know also the Congress under Martin Romualdez, naipasa nila, no? Pero amendment lang ito. Ito ngayon ang ano rin natin, pag-uusapan natin, Attorney Joel, kung ano ang difference ng amendment and revision. Okay? So paano tanongin natin itong mga ating tumatakbo na ang plataforma nila ay talagang federalism, pero in the middle of everything, biglang hindi naman natutuloy at bigla silang nagbaback off. I don't know what the reason is.
Yeah, because let me just address what you are saying kanina, yung mga ano yan, yung nagkaroon ng information drive ang
Yes.
DIL.
Yes.
I was in Dumaguete when I attended one of those one. I was in Dumaguete then. Mali kasi. They did not do what we are doing now. Pumunta sila kaagad sa, we will copy this, we will have a choice of copying the German model, the Switzerland, etc., without answering the question why. Siyempre, sabi ng tao, bakit tayo pupunta dyan? Sila lang naman. Natural, that will be the reaction of people. That is the reason why when in mga 3 months ago, when I feel better from my dialysis, then I thought of coming up. Sige nga, because I was being parang mga depressed itong dialysis ko. Sabi ko, I have to do something else. So sinubukan ko yung group chat muna. Uy, sabi ko may nagre-respond pa.
Yes.
Kaya tayo nakarating nitong interview mo ngayon, yes. Vivian. But actually, we're
putting it back into agenda.
Yeah. yun, kaya nga sabi ko sa mga grupo natin, subukan natin i-organize yung tao natin, then go to Senator Padilla. Because as of now, the constitutionally mandated committee is the Committee on Revision. And that is chaired by Robin Padilla. So we will have a semblance, not only a semblance, a legal platform, rather than we will be shouting again on RevGov na walang legality. But if we start with the committee on revision of and maibenta natin kay Robin itong pinag-uusapan natin ngayon, and I think he is going to receive it wholeheartedly. I think we can make a difference. We'll make it another try, because the difference between revision and
amendment,
you were asking me, no? Amendment kasi piece by piece, like for example in the United States, you have the 5th Amendment, you have the 2nd Amendment. Yun lang, change lang nila yung holding of guns, who are the people who can handle guns, responsible. That is I think that is the 2nd Amendment. On the 5th Amendment is on freedom of speech. Parang ganun lang, mga 10th Amendment. But in the revision kasi, talagang i-overhaul mo yan.
The abrogation of the whole Constitution.
Kagaya yung ginawa ni Marcos, old Marcos, when he came up with the 1972 Constitution, you notice, if you go back to that, it is a parliamentary form of government. He was in the correct track. He was correct in trying to dismantle the centralist form of government. Kaya lang, ang mali kay Apo natin na yan, he was destroying the center not for the people but for himself. Yun ang naging mali. But he was on the right track. He was on the right track. Destroy the center. Destroy the center. Kaya lang, the comforts of dictatorship. Kaya nga yung 1972 Constitution made Marcos a constitutional dictator. That cannot be hidden, kasi that is in the books, that is in our legal books. He was made a constitutional, kasi even with a national assembly na yun sana ang gagawa ng batas, Marcos retained for himself the power to issue presidential decrees,
which is a martial law.
There are two persons who could have reversed the situation of the Philippines, Marcos and Aquino. Marcos failed to do it. Aquino, when she was still with the Freedom Constitution, from 1986 to July 27 of 1987, he could have done something. She could have done something. Why? Because she was exercising dictatorship
revolutionary government,
under the freedom, revolutionary
government.
She was exercising both executive and legislative, because the Congress was only convened in July 27 of 1987. Before that, walang Congress. She was the Congress.
Transitional.
Alone, and then the dictator.
Transitional.
Pero yun naman, ang mali naman dun kay Cory, hatred constitution ang nangyari. Lahat na yan na Marcos, masama yan. Lahat na doon, masama yan. Lahat na Ilocano, masama yan. So, naging may stereotype ngayon yung 1987 Constitution, which was on a wrong foot. Don't start a constitution with hate. The moment you start a constitution with hate, then we will be in trouble. And that's exactly what happened to Cory Aquino. Tapos hatred. Nakita naman ng tao na wala naman nangyari. Nagalit ang tao, binalik nila si Marcos.
It's a vicious cycle, I would say. Attorney Joe Joel, tatanungin ito, yung amendment kasi, ito lang kasi recently just happened, no? Last March, I think, when Congress passed, kasi ito amendment lang, which is only a part of a constitution when it comes to foreign direct investments, no? Yun ang
Yes.
unang economic amendment. Oo.
Yung economic provisions.
Economic provision. So, ito nakapasa to sa Kongreso, no? So, you know, sabi natin, sige pa konti-konti kung yun ang gusto nila. But then, pagdating naman sa Senate, no approval, no nothing, and they said that this is not the priority of a Senate. Anong take mo rito?
24 people in Senate deciding for 110 million people. That is my problem with the centrist form of government. You have 24 senators deciding for 110 million. How can that happen? You have even actor A, actor B, actor C.
So under the federal form of government, dadami ang senator, di ba?
Dadami ang senators, pero senatorial districts.
Correct.
Hindi at large. Hindi at large.
So
like for example,
by state. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, by state. Like for example, the Cordilleras will elect their congressman to their local congress.
Okay.
But they will also elect two or three people who will sit in the federal Senate.
Okay.
But the system is different. It is not that the Congress is subject to review by the Senate of the Federal Senate. No. Final na yung one house lang. But local matters belong to local Congress. Federal matters belong to
national. Like
international matters, yes, and international seas and whatever will belong to the Federal Senate.
Babalikan ko.
Go
ahead.
For the crimes that are moving from state to state, those are federal crimes.
Correct. Babalikan ko yon yung natanong mo, Monj, na paano kung yung mga ibang federal state, kung magka-federal form of government tayo, yung mga ibang state na hindi pa kaya, no, to federalize, no. Meron naman kasi tayong magkakaroon pa rin naman tayo ng national. Di ba tama, attorney? Meron pa rin naman national at meron pa rin budget, no, going to the national. Pero mas maliit na lang. Oo, go ahead.
May transitory provision yan, parang winning of the child, it will take 10 years, 12 years.
Yes.
Mag-taper down yung national budget. Tapos yung state budget will go up. Yung national budget mag-taper down, yung state budget will, kasi ngayon ang state ang magko-contribute na ngayon sa buhay ng federal, di ba? So there is a transition period. It will not be easy. I am not saying this is a walk in the park.
Very complex issue.
This is a complex issue. It's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be easy. Kaya nga sinasabi ko dun sa mga kasama natin, we need a groundswell, no? That is people based on knowledge rather than emotions. Noong 2016 tayo gumagalaw, more on emotions. More on emotions yung iba dyan na sumusunod. Tanungin mo kung bakit sumusunod. Yun ang sabi nila. Punta tayo ng federal. Parang umuuso na lang.
We have to be thinking, you know, well, as we all know, change has never been easy. Talaga namang hindi madali yan. In fact, yung mga, Monch, yung mga ibang countries nga, sabi ko, may upheaval before change of government may revolt. Before we can even change a form of government, which is what happened to us in 1986, you know, and then that's why we had the 1987 Constitution and so on and so forth, no? Pero, ito ngayon, as simple as bago tayo mag-break, no, we still have 10 minutes. Attorney Joel, isabihin naman natin kung ano naman talaga ang mga under a federal form of government, bakit ang federalism is it better for the Philippines? Bakit mas maganda? Let's say kunyari nag-federal na tayo sa regional central
in a nutshell, in a federal system, the government goes nearer to the people.
Yun.
It goes nearer to the people. Unlike ngayon, may project ka na public toilet doon sa Tawi-Tawi. Approve ng budget dito, 3 taon bago darating sa Tawi-Tawi. Basag na yung toilet bowl.
Correct. Yes.
You see? That is how it is.
Attorney si yung yumaong si former Senate President 𝗵𝗵𝗁 is a strong advocate of federalism.
Yeah.
And in fact, he is called as the father of the local government code. Siya yung nagpasa ng batas na yan, nag-strengthen sa local governments natin. Do you think enough na yung local government, yung batas na yon na nag-empower sa mga local government to address the local issues na kailangan ng bayan?
The local government could still stay as it is, but it should be controlled, divided into the number of states. That local government will have its local government of the Ilocanos, will have a local government of the Bicolanos. It tapers down, no? Hindi kagaya ngayon na one center. Hindi kagaya na one center. But insofar as governor down, kasi before the Treaty of Paris, wala naman tayong center government. All we have are gobernadorcillos.
Yes.
And all of these are independent gobernadorcillos. The only relationship between barangays or between governors back then is barter. That is the only relationship between two cultures. No, walang pakialaman ng politiko yan. Barter lang yan, economic. Kaya that is the reason why we had the barter trade. You see? So, for me, I strongly believe that if we go to the native Filipino and we associate the nations under one federal system to form a country and to form a nation, it will be stronger than today.
Actually, Vibs, nung pre-Hispanic period sa history book natin, hiwa-hiwalay din ng mga government. Like, di ba, meron tayong mga iba't ibang raha. May raha sa Cebu, meron ka sa Maynila. So, wala talagang central government. And then, yung sinasabi ni Attorney na Gobernadorcillo, merong Governor General, pero yun nga, yung power ay hindi naman talaga siya dinidikta ng nag-iisang government.
Saka, no, more on paper central lang yon. Parang dictatorship na walang dictatorship. Kasi ang masusunod din yan, yung mga raha-raha na sinasabi mo. Pero nawala ngayon, when the Treaty of Paris came in, and centralized government was introduced by the United States in the Bill of 1902, that destroys the native Filipino system.
Well,
1902.
Go ahead. Tinitinan natin kasi the positivity of having a federal form of government, no? Isa pa rito kasi under the system that we have, yung presidential system, parang sa akin kasi it lacks accountability, di ba? Kasi pagka nagkamali ka kasi, Monch, ang way lang mo is really to impeachment, di ba? Through impeachment. Pero kung alam mo naman, minsan ng Congress, pag hawak naman ng isang presidente ang isang kongreso, mas mahihirapan ang impeachment, no? Unlike yung ating, let's say, if we go under a federal parliamentary system na tinatawag natin, which is like for instance, magkakaroon tayo ng prime minister, no? Ang nangyayari diyan, papalitan lang siya, 'di ba? Magkakaroon lang ng removal, yung first sign of corruption, pwede na siyang matanggal. Tama ito, 'di ba, attorney?
Let us not confuse federalism from parliamentarism.
Okay. But there's federal parliament and federal presidential.
Yeah, the federalism is the house. Okay?
Correct.
Ang distribution ng rooms doon sa loob is either presidential or parliamentary.
Or parliamentary.
Yes. Now, tama yung ginawa ni Marcos naman. Kung pinayagan lang niya na kasi si Marcos noon was in an interim, he was presiding on the interim National Assembly because he was a prime minister. The trouble with Marcos is he never called for the regular National Assembly. Naging interim siya for life until such time that he was forced to call for a snap election. Kaya naging interim kung natuloy sana yung National Assembly and the national ang i-elect natin will be ministers, okay? Then when the ministers will come together, they will elect the prime minister. Yun yung sinasabi mo na parliamentary system. Because the prime minister is primus inter pares, first among equals yung prime minister. He is the primus.
The British system, no?
Yeah, that is the reason why the Congress or the ministry or the National Assembly can withdraw at any time its confidence and remove the prime minister. At the same time, however, merong power yung prime minister to dissolve the National Assembly. Lumbahan sila yan. Lumbahan sila. There is a particular power there. But that is a subject matter of another interview altogether. Kasi yun, very, very technical.
Binibigyan lang natin sila ng overview on, pagka nagkaroon tayo ng federal form of government and what are the options, kasi may mga options tayo, Marge, like what, pakisabi nga ako ano yung mga options natin na under a federal form of government. Of course.
For me kasi, ang nearest sa Philippine situation, yung nakikita kong Association of Nations, will be the situation in Switzerland. The Switzerland situation is may tawag sila, common ba yan?
Common.
Basta they call the smaller ones with different, kasi multi-culture din Switzerland eh. Mayroon kang basta yung mga ninuno ng mga Anglo-Saxon na maraming culture yan. Nandun sila sa Switzerland. They are divided into colons, I think. They call it something. But anyway, that is the nearest that I think. Because in the case of Congress, in the case of United States naman kasi, United States is built by people who came all over. Wala namang native, except you are talking of the US Indians. No?
Yes.
Wala namang native na Amerikano na Caucasian. Wala naman diyan eh. No? Yeah. So it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit the situation. The one that fit is either Malaysia or Switzerland. I think. But to me kasi I see it the more on the Filipino situation in 1800s. All you got to do is modernize it and adapt it to local. Kaya ayaw ko yung sinasabi nila, we will copy this, we will copy that, we will.
Yeah.
Parang ang no sa akin yan. Pero siguro for purposes of learning naman, para pwedeng it adds to our knowledge. Pwede natin titignan. Yeah. But it should not be the primary thing. Yeah. It should be an add-on rather than the basic one or the substantial one.
Pwede naman kasing tailor fit yan eh, di ba? Tailored fit sa atin, ano? Okay, so babalik po tayo after a few reminders at pag-uusapan din po natin kung ano pa ang proseso, no? What are the process that we have to go through, no? Para dito sa federal form of government. We'll come back in a few minutes.
If you like listening to our stations, DZRJ 810 AM and RJFM 100.3, there's no excuse not to listen anywhere and wherever you want. Listen on your phone or computer anytime, anywhere in the world. Just download the app for free. How do you download? If you have an Android phone or tablet, go to Google Play Store. If you have an iPhone or iPad, go to Apple App Store. It's that simple. We have 3 streaming sites. Just type in TuneIn Radio or Radio Garden or Streama. That's STREEMA. Once the app is downloaded, type in and search for DZRJ. And now you can choose and enjoy DZRJ 810 AM and RJFM 100.3 anytime and anywhere. Hey, it's free.
Fierce, fast, and on the go. Reporters Hour, hosted by 𝗖𝗵𝗶𝘁. Meet the fearless reporters of Teleradio Bandido TV, Celestino Jojo Sicat, Vance Fernandez, 𝗖𝗵𝗶𝘁, 𝗖𝗵𝗵𝗁, Felix Tambongco, and Romel Madrigal. During a crisis, you need timely and up-to-date reports on Radio Bandido TV, daily, plus on Reporters Hour, on Channel 224 Sky Cable, TV Plus boxes, digital free-to-air Channel 29, DZRJ 810 AM, Facebook.com/DZRJ 810 AM, and on YouTube channel DZRJ 810 AM, Radio Bandido.
May problema ka ba sa asawa, kaibigan, katrabaho, boss o negosyo? Tanong mo, sagot nila attorney. Mag-PM lang ng inyong problema at sasagutin iyan live ng abogado ng bayan na sina Attorney Nikki De Vega at Attorney Carlo Nicolas. Libreng payo ng abogado mula kina Attorney Nikki at Attorney Carlo. Ang Buhay at Batas ay isang programa na nagsasanib ng samut-saring mukha ng buhay at iba't ibang aspekto ng batas. Sabi nga nila, ang buhay ay parang batas. Paminsan mahirap, pero may abogadong tutulong sa'yo. Watch them every Tuesday from 12 noon to 1 p.m.
on Radio Bandido TV,
Channel 224 Sky Cable, Free-to-Air Channel 29, TV Plus boxes, DZRJ 810 AM, Facebook.com/DZRJ 810 AM, or on YouTube channel
DZRJ 810 AM, Radio Bandido. Chit Chat with 𝗶𝗶 with host Vivian Velez is a program that breaks down important national concerns, events, and stories, featuring newsmaker interviews and compelling features to add context, clarity, and answer the questions on your mind. Every Sundays from 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. on Radio Bandido TV, Channel 224 Sky Cable, TV Plus boxes, GMA Affordable Box, Easy Box, and all DTT boxes. Simulcast on DZRJ 810 AM. Seen on Facebook/DZRJ 810 AM and YouTube channel DZRJ 810 AM, Radio Bandido.
Well, welcome back mga ka-chit-chat. We hope marami po tayo natututunan mula sa ating resource person na si Attorney Joel Obar. Sa mga ngayon lang po naka-tune in tungkol po sa federalism ang tampok natin sa linggong ito. Monj?
Yes. At our avid listeners, shout out kina Chester Reyes, 𝗖𝗵𝗁𝗶, Altamirano, and Bear Platon. Very serious daw ang ating episode for today at marami silang natututunan.
Oo, si 𝗖𝗵𝗁𝗶, alam mo naman si 𝗖𝗵𝗁𝗶, very nationalistic yan at gusto niya malaman mga how we can improve, no? Ang ating bayan. But okay.
By the way, Vivian.
Yes.
Vivian,
Yes,
rine-record ko ito. Rine-record ko, ha? Then I'm asking permission na i-replay ko.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Kasi pero ano naman ito, nasa YouTube tayo and of course nasa FB live and YouTube always replay. Isasend ko sa iyo yung link, Attorney Joel. Okay, so yung ating napapag-usapan natin, of course, kulang ang ating oras, ano? At ano pa ba ang maitutulong ang ating federal form of government kung ito ay babaguhin natin, ano? Maraming benefits, no? Especially pagka para sa akin nahihirapan tayo dito sa ating corruption, ano, when it comes to yung mga corrupt hindi natin maano yan because lahat ng resources natin is going into yung sinasabi nga nilang center, no? Centrist.
Actually, Bibs, dyan lumabas yung tinatawag na Imperial Manila, no? Yung katagangan niya na yung mga nagrereklamo tayo sa mga taga Mindanao, sabi nila, oh, bakit kami magbabayad ng taxes para ma-improve yung MRT? Hindi naman namin nagagamit yan.
Hindi ba? Usually ganun talaga, no? Makikita mo as far as even in Zamboanga, makikita mo yung mga roads, no? Kasi nga for the approval of all budgets, 'di ba? Ang Congress naman na nag-approve niyan. Anong take mo rito, Attorney Joel, bago natin pag-usapan ng proseso?
Yeah, mahirap talaga, but my point is let us stop the bleeding. Let us stop the bleeding under this centrist government. Of course, our generation, patapos na yung generation natin, and the second generation will have a big thing to do. Marami silang pag-aaralan, marami silang gagawin to perfect the new kind of government. It's not a piece of cake that is going to be placed in the plate, no? They will have to work for it. There will be birth pains, there will be labor pains. But what is important is stop the bleeding. Let us stop the bleeding. 13 trillion na ba yan? Magkano ba yung utang ng Pilipinas ngayon? I do not know. I even stop counting na. Now,
I've lost count.
Anyway, sana kung pupunta sa mga tao yan, no? But the trouble is a big portion of it flies away and goes out of the country. Perhaps there is most likelihood that ninakaw na nga, buti sana kung gagastusin dito. Baka ilalabas pa. Sa akin, walang problema sana kung korap ka, gagastusin mo sa Pilipinas. Pero kung ibili mo ng mansion dun sa Hollywood, that will be a different situation. And I know, I grew up, I spent 25 years in Negros Oriental. There are many people there whose residences are in Spain. Many, kasi yung mga friar lands, no, that were distributed by the Spaniards during the Spanish time remains to be friar lands. Imagine in the city of Bais. The city of Bais is owned by less than 10 people. You see? That is how big the friar lands that was distributed. And when it is now coming income, ang residence nila nasa Spain, nasa Barcelona. Nasa Barcelona yung most of their residences. And so yun ang masama. Going back again, sa problema natin sa corruption, endemic na. Imagine drugs is in the police system, is now inside the police up to the general. How can you? I don't know.
What we really do, alam natin na talaga napakalaki ng problema natin. Marge, I mean, ang electoral natin, at least alam naman natin, 56% yata are youth, no?
Yung
malaki.
recent election natin, madami mga kabataan ang bumoto.
Yeah, I think sana meron tayong pag-asa sa kanila. no? Para sa kanila rin naman ito.
Well, may pag-asa natin sa kanila if they will not involve them in the kabataang barangay now. Kasi yung kabataan barangay naman, nakikita nila yung ginagawa ng barangay captain. Imagine I have many, kasi we are a young heart naman. So ang barkada ko yung mga kabataang barangay. Pumipirma sila ng voucher, hindi nila alam kung bakit pumipirma ng voucher.
Wow. Wow.
You see?
Yeah.
Dahil kabataan lang kayo, wala kayong alam dito, pirma lang kayo. Pirma naman yung bata ng voucher. Empty, walang blank voucher. You see? And what does that tell you to a 16-year-old kabataang barangay official? Pag nag-20 yan, master na niya. So,
actually,
anyway.
Yeah. Attorney, actually very interesting talaga yung nabanggit mo kanina, no, yung bago tayo nag-break, yung tungkol sa voter, kasi at the end of the day, it's all about how our voters choose our leaders. Na sinasabi mong the alipin mentality and the servant mentality na tinatawag. And in fact, Vibs, di ba, yung ating pagpapadala sa abroad ng mga migrant workers ay in fact, sinachampion natin yan. Wala namang masama dyan, pero parang meron tayong ganun pag-iisip na yung success metric ay pagka nakapag-abroad, which is nangangamuhan, naghahanap ng amo abroad because that's the idea of success, na kung hindi siya magbabago yung mindset na bakit hindi ako ang maging amo for a change, hindi ako yung servant. Lumalabas kasi, attorney, sa studies ng NEDA na simple lang ang Pinoy na mangarap, magkaroon lang ng isang maliit na bahay, yung mga anak ay nakapag-aral, accomplished na siya. So kumbaga mababa yung pangarap ng Pinoy, hindi siya mataas, natatakot siyang mangarap, at in fact, pagka nangarap ka ng mataas, sasabihan kang ambisyoso, nagiging masama yung pagka nangarap ka ng mataas. Pero paano ka magkakaroon ng mga magagandang leaders, paano ka magiging educated kung napakababa lang na iyong pangarap sa buhay, hindi ka kumbaga parang nasa smart shame ka. Sinasabihan ka ng edi ikaw na, edi wow, parang gano'n. So parang nagiging liability yung pagiging nagkaroon ng masters, nag-doctorate, nangarap na maging CEO. So I think that's one part of the problem, na pagka yung mga electorate ay hindi nangangahas mangarap ng mataas, hindi nag-excel for excellence. Kaya sinasabi mo kanina na alipin attitude ay magpapatuloy, ganun at ganun pa rin ang i-elect natin mga leaders next year and generation.
That is not only a part, that is 50%. That is the flip side of the problem. Yeah. That's the flip side of the problem. Hindi lang portion ng problem, it is the flip side of the problem. So, mahirap talaga. Like, the late Justice 𝗖𝗵𝗶𝘁 has a way of saying that simple thing. The Filipino has simple needs. I mean, a shelter over his head, a cloth over his back, and a food to his stomach, and most importantly, a dignity to his soul. That is how the late Justice 𝗖𝗵𝗶𝘁 mentioned in one of his decisions, where he personally penned the decision, and he was describing that. Yeah. He was describing that yung victimhood, yung victimhood ng Pilipino. Nakawawa naman ako, ganito ako, parang ganun ang in that decision. So we have to extricate ourselves from that psychological burden, if you may call it is a psychological burden. Na doon ka na lang, dito ka talaga.
Ako naman kasi talagang paano tayo paatras no. Ako, I blame, of course, syempre, ano ba options ng ating mga taong bayan kundi to work abroad because wala naman trabaho rito at napakaliit na mga sweldo, no? So it goes back to, a chicken and an egg. Ano bang nauuna dyan? Definitely ako, para sa akin, the electoral process na tinatawag natin, na nadadaya rin naman tayo the oligarch system. Pagka may pera ka, madali kang makapasok sa isang posisyon kasi nababayaran ng mga tao kasi wala naman silang choice. Yun nga yun. Kasi dapat talaga ang boto natin hindi nababayaran kasi napaka-importante because in the long run, tayo rin ang talagang tawag dito, magiging victim, no, of our own.
Yun ang mahirap sa sistema natin. PRRD made a symbolical destruction of the oligarchy by stopping the ABS-CBN. But rumors also are saying
si Monch nag-ABS-CBN.
Rumors are saying that Davao itself has an oligarchy by itself. So what is the difference now? Kaya
the system. Yung system nga, kaya nga itong pinag-uusapan po natin, itong federal form of government, somehow, baka naman kasi because of centrist, madali kasing makorap Di ba? Kasi iilan lang sila ron sa taas at madali silang kakausapin. Whereas pagka federal form of government, marami tayong state para kausapin mo yan isa-isa. I'm sure merong ibang mga state na aalma dyan at eventually, being a model to other states. No? Kaya napaka-importante po itong pinag-uusapan natin. Napaka-igsi ng ating usapin pagdating dito kasi, ilan lang yung oras natin. But, okay, pag-usapan natin, attorney, kahit paano, overview lang naman kasi itong pinag-uusapan natin. Marami pa tayong dapat pag-usapan when it terms to yung proseso. Paano ba to? Siyempre, sige, okay sa akin yung federal form of government. Paano ba natin gagawin yan?
Yan. That is the correct questions now. The correct question. Because under the 1987 Constitution, there are only 3 ways to revise the Constitution. One is by a constitutional convention. Second is by a constituent assembly. And third is by a people's initiative. The first two, parang hindi natin magamit yon because it goes back to Congress. Both the constitutional convention is going to be created by Congress because it will pass a law creating the national, calling for a constitutional convention. The Constituent Assembly is Congress converting itself as a writer of the Constitution. Sila na ngayon ang magsusulat. The third one is People's Initiative. Mahirap yung People's Initiative. Mahirap. But I think we are down to that option. We are down to that option. Because anyway, sovereignty resides of the people.
Okay, attorney, so, explain natin kung bakit mahirap ang People's Initiative.
First of all, if we follow how it was written in law, that there is a petition, there is a verification of signatures, etc., etc., it will still be controlled by Congress. That's the reason why I want a groundswell. I was envisioning for a groundswell, kahit na virtual man lang, like the Muslim Spring that happened in the Middle East. No, sa computer lang sila Sa computer lang sila nag-groundswell. Then it becomes easy because there is a social pressure. That is what is in my mind. I don't know if I am praying all night for God's guidance for this to happen, because we are down to that option. We are down to that option, which is not revolution. I am now discounting the possibility of an armed, violent revolution. That is a no-no in our kind of society. Walang sasama sa atin. Or not, buti ko may 30% na sasama sa inyo. Magpapaalipin na lang yan. Magpapaalipin na lang yan kay Marcos kaysa lalabanan natin si Marcos. So, my friends, dapat maintindihan ng listeners natin na this needs a mouth-to-mouth transfer of ideas, a clamor, a spontaneous reaction of people. And I think there will be a spontaneous reaction if they know how evil this centrist government is. The trouble is, nung inaaral ko itong situation natin, Vivian and Raymond, our history books does not even mention what we are saying.
Hindi?
And parang the writers of history did not tell us the truth. Did not tell us that this is gonna happen, or that is what happened. Like there is an amount of $10 million that was added to the Treaty of Paris. It was paid in sometime in 1913 before the Jones Law. Look at the law books. I look at the history books. If ever there is a history book that mentions about it. Wala.
Yeah. Attorney Bart, ang sa akin naman kasi, ang take ko naman dito kasi, it's always still the election, ano. Katulad na to, si President Marcos, Bongbong Marcos, run under the party of
Federal,
di ba? He ran under the federal federal movement ba? Nakalimutan ko.
Something, basta may federal.
Okay, so he won. But he was not advocating federal at this point, no? So bakit kasama siya dun sa parting yon? Dun sa political parting yon, kung yun ang ina-advocate nila. Okay, one also is Robin Padilla. Ito, pag-umpisa pa lang niya sa kanyang campaign, of course, he is Robin Padilla, but at the same time, kahit na artista ka, kung wala ka namang platform, ang platform na ginamit niya is federalism. Okay. And then second, si Presidente, dalawa lang. Yung number one niya was the federal form of government. Nananalo sila under a federal, under that kind of platform, yung federal form of government. So, kahit naman may mga kausap tayo, sabihin na natin 37% of the electoral voters, naiintindihan ko anong federal form of government. And they're for it. Hindi ko maintindihan, pag dumarating na nga sila dyan at nakapwesto na sila, nakakalimutan na nila yung kanilang plataforma. No? Kaya sa akin, nasa electorate din yan kasi parang binoboto naman nila So naiintindihan nila na a federal form of government is really good for the Philippines. No? It's a better option for the Philippines. Kasi binoboto nila yung mga taong yan ang plataforma. No? So,
what you're saying is, bakit nananalo sila under that platform?
Correct.
Diba?
Correct. So that means naintindihan naman ng tao, no? I mean, talagang naintindihan nila. Kaya lang pagdating na nga doon, hindi na natin sila sinisingil.
You know, I was disappointed before the midterm election noong 2019. I was with Chairman Nur nung pumunta kami kay Presidente. Then the President, in front of me, ako si Chairman Nur at saka si Kalida, Attorney Kalida, sinabi niya sa mahirap ito, Brother Nur, sabi ni PRRD. Kung ipipilit natin ito, papatayin ako nitong mga general at sa mga congressman. Mahirap ito, dapat ibigay natin sa kanila. Those were the kind of words muntik ako mahulog doon sa inuupuan ko. Kasi from 2016 to 2019, upbeat si Presidente. No, whenever we see him, sabi ko sa isip-isip ko, wag muna akong kasi all my friends were already looking, they had already entered government. Kasi pumunta sila kung anong department. Sabi ko, antayin ko na magiging federal bago ako mag-a-apply sa government. Kaya hindi ako pumasok. Nung 2000, before the election, before the election of 2019. Last visit namin ni Noor, doon ako na-disappoint. But I also see how difficult what it was for the President, PRRD. Siguro that is where the centrist form of government was already on top of his head. Talagang nandun siguro ang US, etc. Lahat na.
Well, in fact, Attorney Obar, there was this supposed to be the 25-man commission that was with Justice Rene Puno, no? Diba?
Oo.
He headed the 25-man commission for this.
Ang ganda sana yun.
Correct. But it never pushed through. Anyway.
Halos binasura lang niya yung report ni Puno, ni Justice Puno. But nung last na I was there to witness yung sinabi niya kay Brother Noor, parang napakabigat yung problema niya. Parang sabi niya, papatayin ako nitong mga general kung pipilitin natin yan. Those were his words.
Yeah.
Those were his words. Kaya yung disappointment ko was also coupled with an understanding of his situation. I was quite disappointed na ano ba naman ito. But understanding it moreover, sabi ko napakahirap talaga itong situation na ito. But anyway, that is history. Now we are here where we are, and lessons learned. Lessons learned, I think, and a second try may not hurt.
I always say nga, John Monch, a sovereign will. Kumbaga, it's within us. Actually, we are the government.
Kung hindi mag-groundswell, wala Hindi mangyayari.
So anyway, we're down to 2-3 minutes, Attorney Omar. Ang bilis ng oras, pagdating sa pagka talagang, what's good for
wala pang cut yan.
Attorney Omar, baka naman meron ka pang gustong to share with us any other advocacies or
this is our only advocacy. We want for people to know really na ganito yung situation natin. And please, for those who understood it and for those who are learned about it, tell others, tell your neighbor, tell your friend, tell others. We have to come up with a groundswell. That is our last option because people's initiative is the only option now that is legal. And which can be done only if there is a groundswell and it is legal because sovereignty resides in us. So it can be done legally. I have no doubt about it. That it can be done legally. Only that it should be spontaneous. It should be really 1,100 plus 1. No, hindi pwedeng 50 plus 1. Hindi pwedeng 50 plus 1. It should be 110 million plus 1.
Alam mo, Monch, kailangan yata talagang sumadsad tayo di ba? Before we really wake up. I mean, with this kind of situation, sabi ko nga gano'n kailangan siguro talagang mahirapan tayo ng gusto for us to realize that we need, another kind of a government, another kind of form of government. Any last word from you, Monch?
Yeah, actually, yung nga sa ating mga listeners, narinig po ninyo yung ating pahayag na ating distinguished guest, si Attorney Joel Obar. And mag-aral po tayo, lagi tayong magsaliksik, matuto tayong maging mapanuri sa ating mga nalalaman at sa ating, yung tungkol sa federalism, hindi na naman yung big word So sinasabi ng iba, di ba parang, mahirap maintindihan yan, hindi naman yan nakakain, hindi naman yan talaga, kumbaga parang hindi siya tangible. Sa panahon po ngayon na napakalawak na ng impormasyon, maaari po tayong mag-aral, maaari po tayong bigay ng panahon para pag-aralan kung ano ba talaga yung pinagmumulan ng mga concerns kagaya nito. Bakit po tayo naghahanap ng ganitong pagbabago. So mag-aral po tayo, maging mapanuri tayo, pakinggan natin yung ating mga taong nagkukwento tungkol dito at ayun, para naman sa bayan lahat ng ating ginagawa. Ayan.
Maraming salamat sa ating guest kay Attorney Joel Obar. I'm sure marami talaga tayo natutunan at kulang na kulang ang ating oras, ano. At na-inspire tayo sa mga kwento niya, lalo na yung mga
Yes.
history. From the
Crash course.
Yeah. We wish you the best, Attorney Joel. Sana huwag kang mapagod. Sabi nga ni Attorney Joel kanina, napapagod na rin siya. But knowing Attorney Joel, talagang napaka, ano yan, patriots yan. So, well, thank you, Attorney Joel.
Thank you.
Yes, that's right. So kaya mga kachichat, abangan niyo ulit kami next Sunday, 5 p.m. dito lamang sa DZRJ Radio Bandido for another insightful episode. Ito po si Raymond Diamzon, nagpapasalamat at nag-iiwan ng magandang gabi sa inyong lahat.
At ako naman po si Vivian Velez, laging magsisilbi para maghatid ng kwentong kapupulutan ng aral, aliw at pag-asa. Para sa inyo, para sa sining at para sa bayan. Have a wonderful evening. Stay safe and see you everyone next Sunday. And of course, we will invite Attorney Joel Obar again. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.
All the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.